Well, if you have ever wondered what your family history says about you, or even the sports that you love, Ancestry genealogist Crista Cowan is here to explain a little bit more details. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I find this so fascinating, and I love how we're starting this off because we're not just talking about the history, but we're connecting it to sport. And can you give us a little bit of insight how we connect the heritage and the roots through some elite athletes like Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid?
Yeah, absolutely. Ancestry has researchers that have made some fun discoveries. Sidney Crosby, for example, over a century before he became one of the best hockey players ever, elite hockey was already part of his family stories. So in Ancestry records, we discovered that Crosby's maternal great uncle, Eddie McCarron, played for the New Glasgow Independents in Nova Scotia in the early 1920s. And newspapers from that time, now preserved on Ancestry, described his performance as one of the best of their careers and great hockey from end to end. And the Independents, of course, are still celebrated in Nova Scotia as a symbol of strong maritime hockey before the NHL expanded. So stories like this, they shape how family traditions and shared experiences can affect athletic paths over generations.
It's so cool. We talked about Sidney Crosby, and he just rocked the entire world for so long. And then the newcomer came in, Connor McDavid. What's the tie in there that you can tell us?
It's so interesting because our research found that one of the biggest influences in what sports you enjoy has to do with the kind of household you grow up in, and where, relatives maybe played or coached or watched or just talked about sports all the time. That early exposure builds skills, it sparks passion, it creates lifelong connections that get passed down. And of course, genetics might play a role in things like endurance or muscle type, but it's the stories and the traditions and the encouragement from families like his that really keep excellence alive across generations.
Yeah, well, when you're really good at something, your parents always have to say, well, where it came from. I got it from my mama can now be expanded into so many areas. If people are looking to get some insight on themselves, because it's fascinating to find out, what's the best way to get in touch with you to maybe go about their roots?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone can come to ancestry.ca. You can start a family tree for free. Ancestry has more than 70 billion records that are going to connect you with all sorts of family sport stories. Maybe your grandpa's high school hockey team photo or your grandma's winning skating competition that made the local paper. And then, of course, you can, if you're curious about what regions in the world you came from or what genetic traits might influence your athleticism, Ancestry DNA is a great tool, and there's a sale on through the 19th.
Oh, amazing. Krista, thanks for your time today. I think this is so cool, and you can find out so much about the way that you are through this program. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely.